Nearing the midway point of the USL Championship season, the cream is beginning to rise to the top. Today on Father's Day, two teams in the top 7 of the Western Conference are set to square off on a gorgeous day in the Pacific Northwest. It's match day 14 as Portland Timbers 2 host Fresno FC Foxes here in Portland, Oregon. And with that, we welcome you into the broadcast booth here at Providence Park alongside two-time MLS Cup champion and former Portland Timbers defender Nat Borchers. I'm Fletcher Johnson. Nat, first off, happy Father's Day. I know you got two running around at home, but couldn't ask for much more here on a beautiful Father's Day.
Yeah, Fletcher, and happy Father's Day to you, and happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there. Happy to be in the booth with you, and happy that we don't have the kids running around and causing havoc in here.
Well, I'm just going to have to make sure we take care of you and not let you run too crazy.
Yeah,
but
control me.
Yeah, right? Well, we got a fun one on tap today between Portland Timbers 2 and Fresno FC. Let's start off with Portland, a club that has 8 results in their last 9 matches, really playing good soccer.
Yeah, the mentality's just been right for this club, and Cam Knowles said it after this result at Austin last week. He said this team is proving to be difficult to beat, and they give up goals, but they come back, they get the result. They go up 2 or 3, they're able to ride out those results. So this is a confident team, and it just seems like Cam Knowles has the mentality right for them today.
Meanwhile, Fresno FC, the visitors, have had a lot of success away from home. 6 results in 7 tries so far this season. Takes experience to know how to win on the road, and it seems like Fresno has that.
Yeah, they do, and defensively they've been just so stout. They've only given up 13 goals on the season. That's second best in the USL Western Conference, and they're just very organized in the back line and in midfield. But also, Adam Smith had said he's disappointed that they haven't gotten more results, more points, and so I think we're going to see a very hungry team today for Fresno FC.
Let's go ahead and take a look at the standings in USL Championships Western Conference. After the results yesterday, you see that Portland Timbers 2 still in the top 5, tied for 5th, or tied for 4th, if you will, with an opportunity, if they get 3 points today, to vault into a tie for 1st place. Fresno FC in 7th, but just 2 points back of Portland Timbers 2. As you can see with how things are bunched up at the top there, opportunities for both teams to move up with a result today. That leads us to our players to watch in this one. We'll start off with Portland Timbers 2. Todd Wharton has been a stalwart in defensive midfield for Portland this season and came up big last weekend against Austin.
Yeah, Todd Wharton has quietly been one of the best midfield players for T2, and he's a box-to-box midfielder. He's got a ton of work rate. He covers so much ground, and that goal that he scored last week to equalize was so perfect because he turned the ball over in transition, and then he gets on the end of it in the box, and so he's just such a key component to this T2 defense and attack.
Meanwhile, for Fresno, Jamal Johnson gets a start up top. 23-year-old New Jersey native, began his career in England with Blackburn Rovers and Wolverhampton Wanderers.
This is a dynamic player. He's very fast and pacey. He's going to be dangerous, especially in the transition, and he scored an absolute cracker of a goal against OKC last week from the top of the box. So T2 backline and midfield, be aware of this player.
Today marks just the 3rd meeting all time between Portland Timbers 2 and Fresno FC Foxes. Fresno got results in both matches last year, a win and then a draw down and home in California. We'll see if Portland Timbers 2 can pick up their first win against their foe from Fresno as we get you starting lineups and opening kickoff from a Sunsplash Providence Park next.
Brown to find, look, whoa! Now it's Musa, oh, what a hit! Ryan Brown, oh, that is electric from Phoenix on the break! Shot, post wide!
Select is the official ball supplier of the USL Championship and many of the finest leagues in the world. Since 1947, Select has been the leader in soccer ball quality and innovation. For the latest Select products and special offers, please visit selectsportamerica.com. Welcome back to Providence Park as we are just about set for kickoff here between Portland Timbers 2 and Fresno FC Foxes. Let's go ahead, take a look at the starting lineups. First for Fresno FC, they make 0 changes from the side that played to a 1-1 draw back on June 8th against OKC. And Nat, the unique thing about this lineup, a 3-4-3 in front of CJ Cochran.
And this is only the 2nd time that Adam Smith has rolled out this kind of formation. That back 3 is going to be very important for them not to give up too much spaces to either side of them. Ellis Hayden and Martin like to bomb on into the attack, and that's actually an area where T2 can get out in the wide areas.
Meanwhile, Portland making 5 changes from the side that drew Austin down in Texas 2-2 back on the 8th. Aljaz Ivacic making his first ever start and appearance for the Timbers organization, coming back from a left tibial stress fracture. Dairon Asprilla leads the team in goals, playing out on the right wing.
It's going to be interesting to see how Ojeda matches up today against this very stout defense for Fresno FC. They've just been so good this season defensively. He's going to have a tough time finding a lot of space. He may have to go out to the wide areas to create in this game.
Well, our refereeing crew for this one, head referee is Elton Garcia. He's assisted by Babacar Jallo and Jeremy Davis. Fourth official is Ian Miller, as we await the whistle from Elton Garcia to get us underway here. Beautiful day, 76 degrees at kickoff. Temperature will rise throughout the course of the match, but couldn't ask for much more here on Father's Day, as it's beautiful in Providence Park. The third game for T2 here in Providence Park since the remodel, grand reopening, if you will. And Nat, one of the cool things for sure is watching opposing teams. They have to come from the 18th Street side of the stadium, so behind the new development over on the far side as we look at it, wind their way back down around and then come down on the field. And whether it's Carlos Vela, whether it's head coach for Fresno Adam Smith, or anyone else, they all got their cameras out walking around that corner to come see the new development.
And it's just awe-inspiring as a player to walk in here and just to see this cathedral, this monument to soccer in the Pacific Northwest. And the Timbers just did a great job with this reconstruction, this addition, and I think it's just added so much flavor, so much to the fan experience, and it's just such an exciting moment for players and fans alike.
You see Cameron Knowles there in his second season as head coach, 23, 15, and 9 since taking over. He's assisted by Andrew Greger, and Aiden Brown. Trainer for T2 is Greg Wakefield. This T2 side, as mentioned, 8 results in their last 9 tries. They're 6-2-5 so far on the season, 23 points. Their opponents, Fresno FC, 5-2-6 on 21 points. So these two teams don't know what losing is, as they've only lost 4 times combined. As Asprilla gets around his man, dribbles into the box, and earns T2 a corner kick in the 2nd minute.
It's going to be really fun to watch this match up with Asprilla and Ellis Hayden on this right-hand side. Asprilla just overpowering Hayden there, getting around him and trying to get that ball into the box. But Asprilla has been so good for T2 this year because he uses that power and that strength to get around his opponents, and he's been such a threat for T2.
Christian Ojeda will strike the corner kick. The 20-year-old Argentinian is on loan from Club Atletico Toleras. And it'll be a left-footed in-swinger after Elton Garcia finishes his conversation with a Fresno player. Chance here for T2 early on. Ojeda puts it in right towards the keeper. Cochran punches away, and Wharton nearly picks it off in the box again. Similar to the way that he turned the ball over and got the goal against Austin. And then Harold Hansen, some good defensive work to stop the counterattack.
Yeah, really well done from Hansen there to track back and make sure he put out that fire.
Cross comes in from Lawal. Kyotis Lawal, a Nigerian, had some opportunities in their last match, Nat, to score some goals against OKC, but couldn't quite find that finishing touch.
Yeah, and you look at this Fresno team, they were so dominant in that performance against OKC, and just disappointed not to get a better result. They outshot OKC 28-6, I believe, and they had their chances. Lawal had 3 or 4 clear-cut chances that he just couldn't put away, and this is a team, they can control games, they can create chances, but the finishing touch has just been missing.
Big drive forward from Todd Wharton. He gets it back in the box, takes a touch, and earns another corner kick for T2. So Portland coming out on the front foot, as you would expect here at home. They'll take the corner quick, play it to Nathan Smith. Smith has time and space. Will send this one towards the back post. Asprilla rises to win the header, but just can't quite steer it on frame.
And you could feel T2 just bringing the energy here at home. Todd Wharton doing a great job of winning that corner kick, and then Nathan Smith with a nice ball across the box. Asprilla rises up. He just can't get a clear chance on that. I think it might have ricocheted off of a Fresno player, but it's a good opening salvo there from T2.
Portland has looked sharp throughout the course of the first half of the season. They've had some moments where maybe they would have liked to play a little better. Had some results not go their way here at home. You always want to try and take maximum points at home. No surprise there. But when it comes to scoring goals, Portland is among the best in the league. They're 4th in USL with 28 goals scored coming into the weekend.
And that's why, Fletcher, I really like this matchup, because it's a match between a team in T2 that can score goals. They've got some really creative players. They got some good finishers on their team. And they're playing against a team that's just very good defensively in Fresno FC. So the onus is on the home team, I think, today in T2 to really create that goal, to create those chances and make sure that they try to control this game.
Great work by Mo Jadama under the pressure of Lawal to keep possession, cut it back away from his goal. As Lawal challenging Jadama early, he's been one of the most important parts of T2's success here early in the year. Mo Jadama not only defensively but also scoring goals as well. Last time here in Providence Park, Jadama struck a free kick from about 25, 28 yards away, and it was a beauty, Nat. And so he's been contributing multiple ways for this T2 team. It
was a screamer, Fletcher, and just to see a center back to be able to hit that ball with the power, the pace, the accuracy, the technique, and his celebration. He took his shirt off. He took the yellow card. He wasn't afraid at all. I mean, because it was the game winner. And you know, hats off to Modou Jadama. He's had an incredible season, and he just keeps getting better every single game.
Hurtado fouled there at the edge of the attacking third. It'll be a restart for Portland. There have been contributions coming from all over the place for T2, especially with with the international window that we just had. Renzo Zambrano, who had played the majority of the matches for T2 here early in the year, stepped away and had an opportunity to play with the Venezuelan men's national team, and then actually was called in to the MLS Timbers as well, as the free kick is struck by Wharton over the top of everyone and out for a goal kick. Marvin Loria has dealt with an injury earlier this year. He was such an important part of last year's success, so he's been in and out of the lineup. He is in the 18 today. We could see him come on as a substitute. And then Eric Williamson as well. Williamson, of course, scoring the first goal last weekend against Austin Bold, was called into the joint U.S. U23 and U.S. men's national team camp. As this ball rolls all the way to the wall, still has it top of the box. Eventually cleared away by Roy Miller, only as far, though, as Elijah Martin.
And a look at this setup defensively from T2, Fletcher, and it looks to me like they're playing a 4-1-4-1 defensively. Todd Wharton is sitting in and allowing Anguiano and Ojeda to be a little bit higher there. And that last attack from Fresno, they were actually able to expose that space just next to Todd Wharton, where he doesn't have that other holding central midfielder player. So it's going to be interesting to see how T2 manages that midfield space in this game.
The veteran Roy Miller, 34-year-old Costa Rican, turns it over there. And Jamal Johnson has time and space to dribble forward. Jadama comes over to cover. Centrally played. T2 does well to get back, slow down any attack that Fresno was building after the turnover. It's interesting that right before the match we talked with Adam Smith, the head coach for Fresno FC, just about his take on USL. Obviously spent time here with his Timbers organization in the past, but just about his take on USL and how really when you look at the league, you have playmaking ability, but in some senses you could also make an argument that the good teams are good because they don't make mistakes. And if you're able to avoid making mistakes, it's going to result in points for you and probably finishing top 3, top 5 in this league.
And my big takeaway from that was maturity and game management, and really that's what it comes down to at this level, is just making the right decisions at the right moments in games, and it's difficult to do that when you're a young, inexperienced player, and you have that with a lot of these teams. A lot of these teams have players who are teenagers. You have players who are in the early mid-20s and are still trying to figure out how to win games and how to get results, and unfortunately that's what happens.
Hurtado, great ball to find Ojeda. Ojeda gets by one man, but his touch lets him down. A little too much on it, and it rolls into the waiting arms of C.J. Cochran.
It's a great chance there from T2. If Ojeda is just able to get his first touch right, I think he gets a better chance to test Cochran there. T2 looking dangerous early on in transition.
Portland's had some opportunities here within the first 9 minutes of the match. Dyron Espria header was just high off of a cross from Nathan Smith. And then that ball from Hurtado that found Ojeda. This one will touch off of Espria.
And they had some chances, T2, early on in that match at Austin. Had 2 or 3 clear-cut chances early on in this game, and they just couldn't convert them. They go down 2 goals, but it's just the resilience of this T2 team that's been so impressive this year.
Here's Johnson in the box, defended by Hansen, cuts it back. Offside flag was up on Johnson. Well, you have to imagine with this free kick being started from the box, and we got a replay here.
You look at this here, it's just a fantastic early ball there, and Ojeda, again, that's just that second touch that he just does not get right. The first touch is absolutely perfect, and he's upset with himself, absolutely, but it's a great early ball in that left-sided defense there, just struggling to recognize that early cross from T2, and that's what happens a lot of times, Fletcher, when you play a back 3. It's very difficult to judge the spacing, the distances, because they're so used to, this is a team that's played a back 4 every single game leading up to last week, so they're still trying to figure out the spacing, getting things right. And when Ellis Hayden and when Elijah Martin go forward, those wingers, there's going to be tons of space in behind to transition into for T2.
Portland nearly found Langsdorff over the top. Now into space for Espria. He'll shoot, and just wide. Never want to leave Dyron Espria that much space 25 yards from goal, and he'll make you pay more often than not.
I love this positioning from Espria. He comes inside, finds that soft spot in front of that back line, and you never want to leave a player of Espria's quality and shooting ability from that distance. He just does not get the right power on that one and just goes by the post, but excellent stuff from T2 to really test this back line so far.
Foul called there on Hurtado as Ellis Hayden brought it forward across the center stripe. Portland's been dynamic scoring goals from outside the box this season. They're tied for 4th in all of USL with 5 goals coming from outside the box. Whether it's Mo Jadama, Dyron Espria, handful of others. Marvin Laurie always dangerous with his left foot. Eric Williamson has showed the ability to finish from distance. Just another way in which it keeps your opponents on their toes and could potentially create more opportunities for you to score goals.
It's so hard as a back line to defend against teams who can shoot from distance, because what it forces you to do is it forces you to have to step up and put pressure when the ball is in that area that's just above the 18-yard box. So what that does when the defenses end up stepping up is it gives you more space in behind. It gives you more space all over the field really to play and to move around. So that's just a great tool for T2 to have in their arsenal.
Espria, good work to track back. Forces Elijah Martin into slipping and not being able to bring it forward maybe as far as he would have thought. Espria showing off that pace.
And you can see the attention that Jamal Johnson's already getting early on this game. Harold Hansen, he's on this side right now. Espria is going to have to pick him up, but he's just kind of floating in the areas in front of Hansen and around Espria, and it's just very, very difficult because Hansen's got to make a choice. Does he stay inside, pass him off to Jadama, or does he allow him to run free and pass him off to somebody else?
Portland with a high press, nearly forcing Fresno into a turnover. Kaffa plays backward for Sam Strong, eventually to Ellis Hayden, who will bring it forward.
That's the second time. Sorry, Fresh. That's the second time that Fresno's been able to play out in that wide area. I think Hurtado's got to get his positioning right there. He just isn't taking the right angle, and he's just allowing that winger, Elijah Martin, on that side to find the space and just get out easily. And then it just means your team's got to sprint 40, 30 yards back and recover.
Central for Johnson. Johnson has a little chip over the top for Lawal. Doesn't come off. Fans, follow Portland Timbers 2 and the rest of the USL Championship all season long on ESPN Plus, home to the USL, MLS, UFC, and more. Join the over 2 million sports fans who have already discovered ESPN Plus and watch the championship live every week. Sign up today at ESPNplus.com. That ball rolled across the end line in the eyes of Babacar Jallo, so it'll be a throw for Fresno. Well, the first goal will be important in this match, given that for Fresno, when they score first, they're 4-0-3. Have not lost when they get the first goal. For Portland, they are 4-1-1 when they score first. So obviously important to get that first tally on the board, but both of these teams have shown the ability as well to come back and get results when maybe they didn't get that first goal. Portland a little bit better at it than Fresno to this point in the season. Yeah, and you can see Roy Miller on the ball just there, just telling his team, calm down a little bit. It seems like everybody's kind of running towards the goal, and I think that he wants to see the team, hey, get a little bit more of possession, put your foot on the ball a little bit more, move them around, not go so directly. When you're at home, you want to establish that possession game, that tempo. It's just so important, and obviously front foot soccer, you want to get that first goal, but you don't need to go straight at your opponent. We're almost 15 minutes into the game. It's settled down a little bit. Now's the time to move the ball around and just really enjoy the football. Yeah, how do you feel about the start for T2 to this point? It's been good. It's been sharp. They've definitely done a good job of having the right energy so far. They've created a couple of good opportunities. I think defensively, just a little bit concerned in some of these wide areas about how they're defending Fresno. Into space for Hurtado. Hurtado will send the cross in. I don't know if he was trying to curl that more. It ended up rolling to Cochran right on the end line. But I think absolutely attacking the wide areas in transition versus Fresno is just such a key point for T2 today, because they do have a back three. They don't cover the kind of space that a back four would normally cover. So when Ellis Hayden and Elijah Martin give forward, transition, attack those wide areas. Johnson has space 25 yards from goal, plays it outside to Vasiljevic. Now to Ellis Hayden. Pass reaches Moses, but great touch by Ojeda to knock it away. Make that Hurtado who was on it, and then ends up almost working its way to Hurtado. Goes down. There's a good challenge from Sam Strong in the eyes of Elton Garcia. And Fresno picks possession back up. Here's Johnson. Johnson will try and play the through ball. Hansen goes shoulder to shoulder with Martin. And then Ivicic just clears away. And the transition game for Jamal Johnson in Fresno is just so good. When he gets the ball, he turns, he runs at players, and he plays that ball. I think Hansen does a really good job of making that shoulder-to-shoulder challenge there. It's a crucial one, because if he doesn't, Ellis Hayden is in on goal. But you see just how dangerous they can be in transition, and the kind of speed that they have to attack. But also good that Hansen has a lot of speed as well in that back line. That ball played nearly a goal. Elijah Martin. Ball was initially, I think, being played to Johnson, but it was behind Johnson, straight into the waiting feet of Elijah Martin, who tried to curl that one with some power over Ivicic. And Mojadama's upset with his back line here for switching off just a little bit. Not able to track the runner there. It's a clear chance on goal for Fresno FC, the first one they've had so far. They're just a very fast team, and those transition moments, those set pieces, those throw-ins, you have to stay switched on if you're T2. Yeah, so we're just over a quarter hour in case you're just joining us. Happy Father's Day to you here from Portland, Oregon. Fletcher Johnson and Nat Borchers here with you for Portland Timbers 2 and Fresno FC. Both teams in the top 7 of USL's Western Conference. Clubs that combined just have 4 losses on the season, 2 apiece. Have been difficult to beat. Adam Smith, the coach for Fresno, feels like his team should be in a better position than they are. And Cameron Knowles has to be very happy with the way his team has competed on the road, 3-1-3 away from Providence Park, and have certainly played pretty well here at home, as Ellis Hayden just throws down Foster Langsdorff and earns the foul. Well, and it's interesting, Fletcher, too, to hear the comments from Adam Smith when we asked him the strengths and weaknesses of this T2 team. He gave them such a nice compliment, saying they really are able to show different sides of their game, to be able to sit in and counterattack, to be able to control the game. Here comes Asprilla, dribbles around one man, still has it at his feet, finally cut away from him by Strong. Good work by Strong, and there's a Fresno player down on the turf. I believe that's Elijah Moses, and the trainer for Fresno, David Holford, Woodward will come out to take a look.
Yeah, Spria just taking matters into his own hands here, just running at this back line, but it's a good recovery challenge there from Strong. A nice tackle there, gets all the ball. Excellent work there defensively. But again, back to that compliment from Adam Smith. You look at this T2 team, they are able to score goals in different ways. They are able to defend well in different ways, and that just shows how much maturity this team has, just how good the mentality is, and just how well drilled the team is. And Cam Knowles deserves a huge amount of credit for the work he's put in from the coaching side.
We look again at Aspria and the challenge that came in from Strong.
And really, he's found a lot of space here centrally and even in the wide areas, just running at that back line defensively. And I think that the more patient that T2 can be and allow this Fresno team to open up and come at them, the better it's going to be, because again, once those wingers release for Fresno, you have an opportunity to go right at that back three. And I think that really is going to be hugely important for T2 if they want to get that first goal.
Yeah, you look at this T2 team, really revamped, restructured before last season, and Cameron Knowles taking over. But you had players like Marvin Loria, who at the time, at the beginning of last year, was on loan from Saprissa down in Costa Rica. Renzo Zambrano was somewhat of an unknown quantity. Eric Williamson was out of college from the University of Maryland, making his first professional season start last year. These are pieces that, while not in the starting lineup today, throughout the course of this year have been important to rely upon when maybe the team has gone through struggles in the course of a match. So the fact that you see those pieces not even out here on the field today, but the team still able to come together, be dynamic, create opportunities, and show their willpower, their willingness to compete, and their experience is something that certainly is encouraging if you're a fan of the Timbers organization, whether it's the MLS Timbers, Portland Timbers too, that this organization's heading in the right direction at all levels.
And you have to give credit to a guy like Todd Wharton and to Modou Jadama, guys who are in the lineup day in, day out, and just providing that consistency for the players around them. When you get Renzo Zambrano, who is playing with the Timbers, when you get Williamson, who's also getting some time up with that team as well. So just hugely important for those guys to continue to get minutes and get comfortable. But you saw there Seth Moses leaving the field. That's a huge loss for Fresno FC. He is such a stalwart central midfielder for this team. It's going to be interesting to see how Adam Smith adjusts to this as they play a man down.
Yeah, man down, and no one ready to check in at this point for Fresno. So they will be playing a man down for the foreseeable future. Players over down to our far right getting warmed up. So we'll see how long it takes to get someone warmed up. But Fresno momentarily playing a man down. Miscommunication there from Martin and Lawal, and Portland's able to clear the ball.
And really, he is the only holding central midfielder for Fresno FC in the midfield. Basulovic and Kaffa are really more creative midfield types, and he's really the one that's tasked with just protecting that back line and doing that dirty work that you really need if you want to win games in that midfield.
We'll send the ball forward, looking for Langsdorff. Langsdorff has his hands full with Ramon Del Campo, who's started every game so far for Fresno, and he's gotten the better of the matchup with Langsdorff up top there so far. Still very early on. Jadama heads down, but Lawal gets on the end of it after Jadama slips down. Lawal using that big frame to shield off Hansen. And Fresno has done well playing a man down to keep possession, create some pressure on Portland, not really creating any opportunities to this point. Now Ojeda with a chance to break. He's got space in front of him. Will play it out wide for Hurtado, but not far enough outside. Strong is able to cut out the pass.
But you can just see this, how dangerous T2 can be on the counterattack. And it just seems like Fresno is running out of ideas as they get into that final third. And that's really good for T2, just to sit in, maybe hold your lines just a little bit, be patient, and wait for that opportunity to play a couple passes. And then you're just straight at Fresno the other direction.
Fresno still playing a man down. It looks like they're just about ready to bring a substitute on. Finally warmed up. Obviously early in the match you don't expect to have to bring someone on here, so it took a while to get the players warmed back up. And here comes Strong on the long dribble forward, defended by Smith, who blocks the cross, and it's cleared out to touch. '25th minute, as you see the substitute about ready to come on for Fresno. The Haruki Kurimoto, when signaled on by the fourth official. Cross comes in and ends up in a goal kick. Get updates and alerts all year long by following your club on ESPN.com. Search for Portland Timbers 2 and then click the follow button to keep up with the latest news and scores. Plus get reminders on Portland Timbers 2's next match. Go to ESPN.com now and click follow for your club. Get a whistle and a foul on Fresno. Wharton wants to take the quick restart, but the substitute will come for Fresno, and it will be Seth Moses coming off. And as mentioned, the 28-year-old Japanese native Haruki Kurimoto coming on in his place. Spent the previous 6 seasons with Honda FC over in Japan. 162 appearances, 33 goals. And how about this? Player showed up in Fresno, California for open tryouts, caught the eyes of the coaching staff, earned an invite to the preseason camp, and then they eventually signed him as Cochran collects.
You love stories like that. Certainly a player just showing up literally almost out of nowhere and earning a spot on the team. And he's going to slide in right next to Kaffa just to protect that back line for Fresno. And will be interesting to see how that changes things for Fresno, especially defensively, because I think Moses just gave them so much in terms of that work rate and that coverage and that physicality in midfield.
Ojeda's fouled. Kaffa doesn't like the fact that either Ojeda feels like maybe he handled the ball or something, but in the end, just a restart for Portland. Now Garcia wants to have a conversation with Kaffa to calm down a bit.
This is good refereeing from Elton Garcia, because I think Kaffa has shown a little bit of frustration. You can see him just gesticulating, being frustrated so far, and I think he just hasn't had his way in midfield like he's wanted to. He's a very, very good player, very experienced, definitely smart on the ball. He's going to play that final pass for Fresno, but when he doesn't see the ball for long stretches of the time, that's a credit to T2. They've been good defensively so far.
Dangerous moments here, but Roy Miller quickly back. Plays it to Ivicic. Just send it forward. Some good high press. See Adam Smith down below us imploring his team to high press off of that restart. Didn't initially, but ended up getting what he wanted and getting possession back for Fresno, who have kind of settled into the game here a little bit themselves, Nat, after Portland had the better of the start, some early opportunities. Fresno has grown into the game.
Yeah, and they haven't really, though, been able to get to that. They're good building up, and they're good getting the final third. They just haven't been able to show that creativity. You need to get that chance to really test Ivicic. Yeah, we haven't really spoken about Ivicic. It's his first appearance for the Timbers in any competitions, and you want to test him. You want to test a guy who's just getting his first minutes, and they haven't been able to do that yet.
Here's Asprilla down the right. Has space. First time cross. Hard and low, looking for Langsdorff. But Del Campo's there to clear. Now you could say that the fact that we've called Kaffa's name so little is a reason why they haven't really created too much, though these days maybe not quite as involved in the attack as he has been in the past. Plays a little further back these days, but I mean, when your nickname is El Violinista del Viaducto and started your career with Boca Juniors back in 2003, you're a player that's relied upon to be that number 10, create opportunities for your teammates, and we just haven't seen him at all.
Well, you just see the pressure that Anguiano's putting on him. Every time he gets the ball, he's trying to go back, get the ball off that back line. Anguiano's going with him and providing pressure to him. So that just means that somebody else from the Fresno team is going to have to be involved in the build-up. They're going to have to find that person. I think that's Jamal Johnson. You have to, break lines a little bit more. You're going to have to find that ball from the back line. It's not going to be as easy or as pretty sometimes, but that's what you're going to have to do when your creative player is being marked that tightly.
Again, the pressure from Fresno forces Portland to play back to Ivicic.
And I think that's why at times it's looked like a 4-1-4-1 defensively from T2, is because Anguiano has gone higher to mark up against Kaffa, and Wharton's just been sitting in behind, just patrolling things back there in front of T2's back line.
Here's Lawal, defended by Miller. Miller steps in. Lawal does well to get it around him, then nutmegs Smith, and then a foul called right on the edge of the box against Smith. So a dangerous opportunity coming here for Fresno in the 30th minute.
Curtis Lawal just showing his physicality and his smarts as a player, just getting around Miller initially and then getting through with the nutmeg on Nathan Smith. Nathan Smith having to bring him down just at the top of the box. Very dangerous opportunity now for Fresno FC.
First real action for Aljaz Ivicic as well. Fresno's been in the box a couple separate times. Martin put a shot over the bar at one point. But will Ivicic be forced into a save here? Here's Juan Pablo Kaffa, a man to stand over it. There'll be a left-footed strike.
You'd imagine that Kaffa's going to want to just aim for that near post.
He does, shoots, and it's high.
Kaffa getting plenty of power on this one. Doesn't really trouble the goalkeeper too much. It's more centrally located in the goal, but he does get plenty of power. Just can't get that ball to dip below the crossbar to force Ivicic into a save.
Ivicic finds the chest of Esprit. He can't control in front of Martin, though.
You can see Ivicic, though, he's pretty good with the ball at his feet. Distribution has been decent so far this afternoon.
Comes Martin down the left wing, defended by Hansen. Central for Johnson. Comes Kaffa into the attack. Kurimoto out to Martin. Martin will send the cross in. Jadama, an odd, awkward position to put a touch on that one. Does well to just kind of pop it up into the air. Does give up the corner kick, though.
And Fresno doing a really good job with their overloads on this near side touchline, just getting Kaffa involved, getting Ellis Hayden involved, and just finding those soft spots. And then the final ball just hasn't been there for them yet. But you can see how dangerous they've been, and their movement is just really, really good in this buildup.
Here's Kaffa's corner kick. Header won by Esprilla. Kaffa brings it down. Gets it to Ellis Hayden. Headed away by Jadama. Still under pressure, RT2. Ball in the box. Ellis Hayden does well to keep that in place, sends it central, but Portland's able to clear, as I think everyone on Fresno thought that ball was going to roll out across the end line as Wharton was shielding away Ellis Hayden. Back with Kaffa. Just over a half hour in. Fletcher Johnson and Nat Borchers here with you on Father's Day. Couple shot opportunities for both teams. Fresno hasn't put one on target yet, nor has T2, and a foul called on Ojeda.
Yeah, and you just think the ball's Wharton just trying to shield that ball out. It doesn't look like it fully crosses over the line. It was a very dangerous moment there for that T2 back line, but Mo Jadama really heads up there, alert, getting that ball out of the box.
Kaffa tried to play it quickly while Elton Garcia was having a conversation with Ojeda. But Garcia quickly blew his whistle to call it back.
And I'd imagine that Kaffa in this instance is going to be going for the service and not going for the shot. A lot of big bodies in there for Fresno. Daly and Sprong and Del Campo.
Now Garcia is going to come over and have a conversation with Del Campo and Wharton, as well as Nathan Smith.
And that jockeying is so important too, for especially for a guy like Wharton. If he's marking Del Campo's a bigger player. You got to be physical with him. You got to get a body. You got to get something on him. Make sure he doesn't have a clear run in the box.
Comes the ball in, bounces off a couple bodies, and then Ivicic collects That was dangerous there, and a player, Mickey Daly, has remained down behind the play for Fresno. Portland will go on the counter. Now they will settle. Daly remains down, and the whistle will blow here so that the trainer can come out and take a look at what happened to Mickey Daly as that ball bounced around a few different ways, Nat.
Yeah, it was a bit awkward as it came into the box. Looks like it hits off a couple of different players. And the number 5 there just getting the worst off of that one. See, he falls awkwardly there. Can't imagine what it might be. Looks like the trainer's testing possibly his knee.
Yeah, he came down hard on that right leg, and all of his body came down on that right leg as well. Kind of crunched down, so certainly hope it's nothing bad for Mickey Daly and this Fresno FC team. Already seeing Seth Moses go off with an injury within the first 20 minutes of this one. And now another player down, defensive player. You'd have to imagine that with another defensive player going down, Nat, given that Moses played in the midfield there, kind of in what could be termed a little bit of a defensive role, that I wonder if Adam Smith starts to potentially change things up with the formation if he's forced to make another defensive substitution here in the first half.
Yeah, you'd hope if you're Adam Smith, you don't have to burn another sub this early in the game. And but you think about the seasons, how long they are, and how difficult it is to travel on the road, the injuries you get, the suspensions, things like that. These things happen to teams, so that's why you have to have depth to rely on. You have to have guys you can call upon and get results. And this is going to be a really tough test for Fresno if they're going to have to lose another player.
Daly is up, but he is going to need help off the field. Curtis Lawal and the trainer,
not a good sign,
David Holford, will help him off the field. As you look at Adam Smith's coach, very familiar with this Portland Timbers organization, served as the MLS Timbers goalkeeping coach in 2010, 2011, moved to the academy director and goalkeeping director in 2012 for the club, and then was Sacramento Republic's top assistant for 3 seasons from 2015 to 17. As it looks like Daly able to walk a little bit better here as we are back underway, and once again Fresno will play a man down as Daly walks around the flag down here to our left. Looks to be walking without a limp, so we might see him come back on.
And it looks like Fresno's just adjusted to back 4, brought their wingers in to play more as outside backs. You still have your 2 center backs, and I think that's one of the great things about this formation. Talking to Adam Smith before the game, that he really likes is it's versatile. You can play different ways, you can move pieces around and really get the same amount out of your team.
Here comes Martin. Been dangerous here in the first half. His cross is over the head. Basilevich, and out for a goal kick. Tune in to ESPN3 on June 18th at 7:30 p.m. for a special Tuesday edition of Wednesday Night Soccer as Phoenix Rising FC meets Reno 1868 in Nevada for a battle between 2 of the best in the West. It's the week's best match on Wednesday Night Soccer on a Tuesday, June 18th at 7:30 p.m. on ESPN3. Ray Miller spraying it over to Asprilla, who even with his leaping ability is unable to keep that one in play. And it seems like the opportunities that were coming early and often for Portland have gone by the wayside here in the last 15 to 20 minutes. Is that due to something that Fresno's done, or is Portland failing to do something that can create those opportunities?
It just seems like the energy and the tempo of the game have just lost their luster a little bit. Everything's gone down a little bit, a notch lower. I think both teams need to speed up their play a little bit more. Neither team is really showing the ability to high press at the moment and be successful in doing so. I think that T2 needs to continue to try at the right moments, the right triggers to high press and make Fresno play a little bit faster. And then in transition, they need to play very, very quick.
Here comes Lawal, 1v1, shoulder to shoulder with Jadama. And Jadama showing that strength to knock it away initially, but Lawal able to keep it.
2 big bruising players coming right at each other right there. I just love that matchup between those 2 players. Lawal is just such a big body, a physical presence, but so is Jadama, and he's showing that he's not going to back down in any challenge.
Daly came back on, has the ball at his feet now. So good to see that he's okay. As this ball over the head of Smith, finds Ellis Hayden, dribbles central, Lawal touches it. Was it a deflection off of Jadama? Looks like it was, as it'll be a corner kick, the second of the afternoon for Fresno.
And Johnson is absolutely frustrated now. He was wide open in the box, but as that ball gets wide there, it's just tons of runners there in the box. But again, great defending there from Jadama to clear the danger, and Fresno just showing they're a little bit more dangerous at the moment.
So temperature around 80 degrees now. And obviously playing on the turf a little warmer down on the field, and you wonder if that's starting to play any sort of role as well, as Kaffa will strike this corner kick. Once again waiting for the whistle of Elton Garcia. There it is. Kaffa's ball floated towards the penalty spot, foul called on Strong. And you notice now that was right after a conversation that Elton Garcia had with Strong, and one of the T2 players is Wharton, who went down and earned the foul.
Yeah, and it's good, just good management of the game from the referee side, just making sure things don't get too chippy, making sure he's managing the emotions, the tempo of this game from the players, because we can know hot days, physical games, and certainly when there's a lot on the line, these players things can get out of hand. So he's done a very good job of managing things.
Cut back well by Hansen for Asprilla. Johnson all the way back to defend as we're inside the final 5 minutes of the first half. Hansen now to Ojeda. T2 looking over their options. Will now get it to Miller, back to Jadama. Both teams would certainly like a goal here before halftime.
And there's just a lot of space in front of that back five right now from Fresno. I'm just wondering, where is Ojeda? He's got to find some of those spots and be a little bit more dangerous to go and find that game, because his role as that withdrawn forward, or that number 10, is to create for the team. And there's tons of space right now in front of that back three, back five for Fresno.
Foul called on Hurtado. Quick restart taken, and Ojeda commits the foul. Del Campo, the Hermosillo, Mexico native, signed a pro contract with MLS before the 2015 draft, went undrafted, then went down to Costa Rica, was able to join Saprissa on the recommendation of former MLSer and Saprissa player Daniel Torres. As this ball comes forward over the head of everyone except for Mo Jadama, who clears away to Ojeda. Now a chance for Portland to counter. Ojeda momentarily loses it to Kurimoto and then loses it again. Great work by Kurimoto to win the ball back. Johnson shoots and saved down to himself by Ivicic.
And this is really the first test that Ivicic has had in the game, and Jamal Johnson does a really good job there in transition. We saw him hit that cracker last week against OKC. He's very dangerous from distance, but Ivicic does a very good job of making that save look easy.
Fresno out shooting Portland 6-3 at this point. Just one shot on target for both teams, and that was it right there from Johnson. As Hurtado being held by Strong, and the foul called by Elton Garcia.
You can see Johnson just running at that back line. Uncorks one there from distance, but the positioning right there from Ivicic is perfect. He's able to just corral that ball and make the easy save. And like you said, Fletcher, we're 40 minutes into this game, and that's the first time he's been tested. So you have to give T2 a lot of credit defensively. They haven't given up a whole lot to this Fresno team.
So Wharton and Ojeda standing over this one. Big bodies forward for Portland, both Miller and Jadama in the box. Wharton to strike, curling in swinger, head off of Langsdorff straight to Cochran. He'll quickly send it out for Martin. Martin defended by Hansen. The wall all the way over, goes out off of Nathan Smith. Looked like it went off of the wall, but it'll be a Fresno throw.
It looks like Foster Langsdorff gets that, or it might have been the defender there for Fresno that just angles that right on goal. It was definitely a great service there from the wide area.
Here comes Kudremoto into the box off a back heel from the wall, finds Johnson. Ivicic spills it, but is able to get back to it. That was great play by Fresno to work that one, and then a good save by Ivicic. He'll want better from himself to collect that the first time.
Yeah, and Fresno again just with that overload into these wide areas, and they're just finding that space right there, top of the box. Johnson with a good effort. I think Ivicic could do better there with that save. Needs to be able to be a little bit more confident there with that save, but you have to expect, it's his first game in a Timbers uniform. You're going to have a couple situations like that and have to move on.
Fresno pushing for a goal here before the break. Johnson, space 20 yards away, plays a through ball. Jadama shields to Ivicic. They are creating, as you mentioned earlier, Nat, some problems with for T2 by overloading this near side, the right side of T2's defense. That's where all their opportunities have come out of.
Yeah, and it's interesting to watch, Fletcher, tactically, just seeing Johnson really tuck in centrally with Basulovic. It really makes the outside backs have to tuck in as well, and then they overload with that winger running wide. And if the Esprilla or Hurtado on the other side, if they aren't following the runner, it's an easy overload for Fresno FC to find. And then it's all about crosses into the box and following your runner. So Fresno's done an excellent job, I think, tactically with their movement there.
Just about 15 seconds into stoppage time. We'll play 4 minutes. With a couple injuries we saw as the offside flag up on the wall. Good line held by T2. And the center back pairing of Roy Miller and Mo Jadama. Anguiano and Wharton, two defensive midfielders. Out wide for Ojeda. Esprilla, who got off to a very bright start, has been quiet here over the last 25 minutes. So we see that floating nature of those three that sit underneath Foster Langsdorff. This ball floated in for Esprilla. Esprilla tries to chest it down to himself and not do so. Then forces Ellis Hayden into the turnover. Langsdorff dribbling central. Langsdorff. They say all ball there. Langsdorff can't believe it. And Fresno keep possession. Minute and a half into the added 4 here at the end of the first half. It's Johnson looking for Martin. That ball checks up and he'll be able to get to it. Defended by Hansen. Tries to work around Hansen and does, although Hansen with a great touch to win it back and then knocks it off of Johnson out for a goal kick.
Yeah, really well done defensively from Hansen. He is just matched up magnificently there on this near side touch line against Martin there. Martin with a nice run there, and Hansen just using that pace to get back, recover, and win that ball back. Very well done from Hansen.
Yeah, you look like it was Hansen was almost beat there as Martin got around him, but Martin forgot to take the ball with him, and Hansen made him pay for it, winning it back and earning his team the goal kick. As Vasiljevic goes over the head of Anguiano, quickly restarted by Portland. Esprilla tries to dribble through 2, turns it over. 2.5 minutes through the added 4. Here's Ellis Hayden on the big run down the far side. Esprilla goes to the outside, still pressuring, and then a foul called by Elton Garcia and a yellow card issued to Dairon Esprilla.
Dairon Esprilla just switching sides defensively here, running back to prevent the counter there, just getting too much there of the attacker. It's a little bit of a soft call for me. It's definitely a foul, no doubt about that. For a yellow card, though, I think it's a bit soft.
I think the question there, though, that some people might have is it looked like Ellis Hayden played the ball again after Esprilla's last contact. So it doesn't matter, given that Hayden had played it out of his feet. Even so, Asprilla should still get called for that foul. As we wait on that, we'll see the shot from Kaffa quickly and easily collected by Ivicic.
Yeah, I mean, and it's definitely a good point there. But the referee, he's had pretty good control from the game so far. And Kaffa again, he's just going for that near post. He's getting a little bit closer every time he's playing that ball. It's a good pace on there, but absolutely a good question is in terms of the yellow card.
Foul called there from Garcia on Strong, as we have reached the added 4-minute allotment. We'll see if Portland has one more chance to attack. They do not. And we will go to the break goalless. Scoreless first half between T2 and Fresno FC. 12 shots between the two sides, just 2 on target, both from Fresno FC. Make it 3 in the first half. We'll jump out to halftime, come back in a bit, get you first half highlights, stats, a look at some of the USL scores and storylines as well. But here on Father's Day afternoon, it's Portland Timbers 2-0, Fresno FC Foxes 0.
Coming to you from USL headquarters, this is Steal Some Time. Here's the USL's Kelsey Steele.
Let's hop into the West. Out of week 14, the West was interesting this week. I want to start over in San Antonio and talk about this academy impact that's going on right now. For Gallegos, if you have not watched that goal, you need to go back into the highlights and watch that, because this is a 17-year-old kid who created that entire play. He made that run. He demanded to get the ball back. Barmy hit him up, and he, made that one touch around the defender, finished it off, and it was gorgeous. A 17-year-old looking like a 25-year-old. And
put the team on his back.
Put the team on his back. How about Phoenix's commitment to Dollar Beer Night?
Undefeated.
If you thought that we were going to go through the show today without mentioning Dollar Beer Night, you are severely mistaken.
Absolutely, and for good reason. I mean, holy cow, not only is Dollar Beer Night absolutely a thing, but the goals. The goals on goals on goals, and Adam John, I will stand by this opinion. I will die on this hill. That should have been SportsCenter #1 out of the weekend. 60-yard ball over the top. Not even a touch. He just lofts it over the goalkeeper. I saw that and watched SportsCenter, and I was like, where is it? Okay, it's not number 3, it's not number 2, it's not number 1. I was about to just start tweet storming at SportsCenter on Twitter and just let them know, y'all got that wrong, man.
But elsewhere in USL Championship play, we had a few streaks end this weekend. Talking about over New Mexico and, unfortunately, Tampa Bay Rowdies. Their notable streak comes to an end.
I think if I'm the Rowdies, I have to see this at least as somewhat of a win. So follow me a little bit here.
Okay.
Brown to find Lacroix. Now it's Musa. Oh, what a hit! Ryan Brown. Oh, that is electric from Phoenix on the break. Shot.
Halftime in Soccer City, USA on a beautiful Father's Day afternoon as we are scoreless between Portland Timbers 2 and Fresno FC Foxes here at the break. Welcome back into the broadcast booth. Nat Borchers, Fletcher Johnson here with you. Nat, Fresno outpossessed, outshot Portland, but still even on the scoreboard.
Yeah, it just seemed like neither team was able to get into that final third and really test the opposition goalkeeper. There wasn't a whole lot of creativity. The buildup was okay. The defending was very good from both sides, but neither team really wanting to impress and just go for it and get that first goal.
Let's go ahead and take a look at the first half highlights in this one. And T2 got off to a bright start in the 4th minute. Dairon Asprilla having an impact.
Yeah, Dairon Asprilla just showing how well he can jump, trying to get on the end of this one right now. Doesn't really come off, but it just shows how good he is on that back post. And he was very bright in this first half.
You always think he jumps too early, but just shows the amount of hops that the Colombian has. Well, we moved to the 11th minute. It was another chance for Dairon Asprilla.
Yeah, and Dairon Asprilla here again, just coming in on the inside there, finding some space in front of that back three and just missing the post by mere inches. But he was just very active early on in this first half, just finding that spacing there and just doesn't get quite enough from that shot to get it on target to really test the goalkeeper.
We move a few minutes later into the 18th minute, and Fresno, their first real opportunity.
Yeah, and Fresno just catching T2 defense a little bit asleep here on the throw-in. Some very good work there from Martin there. Coming on his right-hand foot, it just falls to him right there. He just does a good job with his movement here, and Jamal Johnson with the dummy there. Just can't get that one on net, but a good opening chance there from Fresno.
So then we moved into the 30th minute, another chance for the Foxes.
Yeah, and then they had a couple of set pieces here that were very dangerous, and Kaffa just trying to get this one on goal. Can't get the ball down. The technique is very good, though. The pace is very good. Just can't find the accuracy there, but very good chance there from Fresno.
Kaffa would have another one later on in the half from a similar position that he did force Aljaž Ivačić into a save. As we look at the stats, as mentioned, Fresno outshoots Portland 8-4, outpossess Portland with about 54.5% of the possession. But now really in that middle stretch of the first half, really not a whole lot of action in the final thirds.
Yeah, and you have to wonder how much the weather, the temperatures are playing an effect on these teams. It's mid-season, and the teams might have a little bit of heaviness in the legs, and so it's going to be important for both of them to come out with more energy in this second half, and somebody's got to push to get that first goal.
So let's go ahead now and look at some of our USL storylines. Eric Williamson tied for first in USL with 7 assists, and that's given that he hasn't played the full stretch of games for Portland. Meanwhile, T2 4th in USL in goals scored, would like to up that total here today after being unable to do so in the first half. And then, of course, the new $85 million renovation. 25,218 fans packed Providence Park for the home opener of the 2019 season against LAFC back on June 1st. A hotly contested affair between the two teams as the MLS Timbers came up just short against what to this point in the season has been the best team in MLS, LAFC. But T2 have a win and a draw here, looking to pick up another win and another 3 points against Fresno FC as Elton Garcia looks at his watch, blows his whistle, and we are underway in the second half as Fresno starts off with possession. And we have a substitution for Portland. Dairon Asprilla off, and the 21-year-old Costa Rican, I should say, Marvin Loria, coming on in his place. So Loria on for Asprilla at the break. Smith has it, corner of the box, able to get it to Hurtado, who keeps it in front of Strong, and then he's knocked down by Strong, and a penalty kick called within the first 45 seconds of the second half, earned by Brian Hurtado.
I was just going to say, Fletcher, I really want to see T2 come out, be more aggressive, and really get on the front foot here and try to push for this first goal. And obviously, they get the ball into the box here. Some dangerous moments for T2. They work it very well. This left-hand side from Nathan Smith. Hurtado just getting the first touch there. It's a clumsy challenge there from Strong. Hurtado does go down. It seems a little bit too easy. Adam Smith obviously disagrees with the call, but I think it's just a very clumsy challenge there, and it just gives the referee the opportunity to make that call.
This is the first penalty kick that Fresno has faced all season long. Meanwhile, T2 is just 3 for 8 this year. Todd Wharton has not taken one, and he will be the man to strike this one against C.J. Cochran. Chance for T2 to take the lead right at the start of the second half. Todd Wharton steps, strikes, and scores. Portland out in front to start the second half thanks to the efforts of Brian Hurtado to earn the PK.
Todd Wharton just showing the ice in his veins. You see the little stutter step there. Gets Cochran just to hesitate just for the slightest moment, and then he just buries it in that right-hand side of the goal. What a great PK from a leader, a veteran, a player that just has an engine for this team. 1-0 for T2.
You saw before the penalty kick was taken, Adam Smith not happy with the call, the Fresno coach. But Portland being opportunistic, earning that chance. And now we'll see how Fresno responds. When T2 are tied at the half, they are 1-0-2. And when they score that first goal, as mentioned previously, they are 4-1-1. And they have been dynamite in the second half, closing down games when they have a lead.
I think a goal is just what this game needed, Fletcher, is just to speed up the play, put the onus now on Fresno FC to get forward, to attack a little bit more, to open themselves up. And now it's on T2. Now how can they defend this lead? How are they going to possess the ball going forward?
Fresno, when allowing the first goal, 1-2-2. So much different record when Fresno allows first. Though they have only lost once away from home in 7 tries this season.
It's nice to see Todd Wharton getting the opportunity to take that PK. I would have expected maybe a Foster Langsdorf maybe to take that, a Loria perhaps, but Todd Wharton, he's just been so good for this T2 club as of late, and for him to step up and bury that has got to feel good for the player.
Todd Wharton's the 6th different T2 player to take a penalty kick in 2019. And now both he and Eric Williamson are the only ones to have a 100% record scoring their PKs.
I was going to say they've had their struggles taking PKs, no doubt about it.
Now 4 for 9 on the season, and that obviously a big one to give themselves the lead right at the start of the second half.
But it just underscores, Fletcher, what it takes to make a PK, and really it's all about confidence. You want to give PK to guys who are confident, who can step up and who have ice in their veins, and then Todd Wharton has just been that player, like I said, against Austin, scoring that tying goal, really creating that off of a turnover. He's just been so good for this team, and you want to see guys rewarded for their efforts.
Well, now we can talk about, too, what Adam Smith mentioned to us before the game, mistakes. And you could say, whether you want to say that Strong was hard done by the official there or not, he put himself in a position to have that called on him and make that quote-unquote mistake, and it gave T2 a goal.
And you got to give credit to Hurtado there for getting into the box and taking that touch and really putting Strong off a little bit. He hesitated a bit, and he came in just too recklessly there. Again, was it a soft PK? Probably, but when you go down like that and you have contact, it was a foul. And if there's a foul in the box, then certainly the referee has the right to call a penalty.
So 1-0 Portland. 51st minute. As this ball rolls out to touch again for a T2 throw. Quickly back in for Jadama. And now to Anguiano, the 18-year-old from Salem, Oregon. Getting some great minutes with T2 this season. Oh, ball over the top for Ojeda. Del Campo able to shield Ojeda off of that one. As Alja Zivicic, of course, making his first start for this Timbers organization, people really excited to see what he can do and maybe forced into action here as Ellis Hayden sends the cross in, goes all the way through about 3 feet in front of Lawal, who tracks it down. Now finds Vasiljevic, who gets it back, shoots, and saved by Ivicic. So Aljaz Ivicic again making his presence felt. And Nat really interested to see what Aljaz Ivicic can do. He was acquired in the offseason, been recovering from a left tibial stress fracture, and this is his first appearance of the season on an MLS Timbers contract, but an awesome opportunity for him to get some run out here with T2.
And the scouting report on him as a goalkeeper, with the limited amount of training sessions he's had, is that he's a shot stopper, and he's very good with the ball at his feet. And, you know, in the modern game, Fletcher, you have to have a goalkeeper who's good at their feet to be able to act as almost a sweeper of sorts, to get the ball, be able to switch the play, and I think that there's a lot of potential for this guy, and we're really going to get to see the best of him tonight.
Cross comes in. Hansen has to do something with it at the back post. Looks like it took a deflection off of Martin. Garcia did not see it that way and ends up in a throw for Fresno.
But Fresno really haven't tested him yet. And you want to see that if you're Fresno, the opportunity just to test the goalkeeper, see if he is game ready, see if he is up to the task.
Here it goes. Here's Martin into the box. Hansen comes over to defend, and Martin finishes. Fresno has evened things in the 53rd minute.
And this is the overloads, just doing a great job of the movement there, and Johnson providing the creator there for the fantastic finish. Just a nice little running behind there by Martin. Does a good job of just aiming for that near post. He's not going to miss from there, Fletcher. 1-1, tie ball game.
And just like you said, Nat, we needed a goal to open things up, and things have certainly opened up. 2 goals now in the last 6 minutes. And game on between Portland and Fresno.
And I think that Fresno has done a really good job, Fletcher, of attacking down that right-hand side of T2. The movement's been very good. The overloads have gone over there. Johnson, again, he's been very dynamic this game. We haven't seen a whole lot of him in transition as we expected to see him, but right there, just a good job of coming off the back line, getting the ball, turning and playing that winger in behind. And T2 just falling asleep a little bit there with that final pass, and I think that Hansen could have done a lot better job of tracking that runner. It's just difficult with all these overloads.
Wharton's corner kick headed away by Fresno. And now the visitors a chance to break. Portland has numbers back. Comes Lawal carrying forward. Shoulder to shoulder with Hansen. Loria mishits the clearance, then able to get it away. Finds Hurtado. And now Portland can bring it the other way as a little end-to-end action here.
Yeah, it was 3-on-3 if they'd have gone a little bit faster.
Advantage momentarily played, and then Ojeda taken down about 23 yards away.
Ojeda here doing a nice job with his body, just getting around strong there and riding that challenge from the number 2, Ellis Hayden. Showing how good he can be on the ball, Ojeda.
Yeah, Ojeda, another player on loan from Club Athletic Talleres in Argentina. Has some U20 appearances for the Argentinian men's national team against Spain and Italy in 2018. As both he and Wharton stand over this one. Ojeda, the last one to touch the ball. Always interesting to see the last player to touch the ball is the one who will hit it. Whistle's blown, and here is Ojeda to send the cross in. Back post, Mojadama, who was onside, but couldn't put that one in the back of the net.
And all the Fresno players are arguing for offsides. We'll get a good look at it here. Can't really see from that angle. He might have been a shade offsides there, but should do better with that. Mojadama as that ball's coming in the box to lay out with that header. Just try to get that on the goal, challenge the goalkeeper. Big opportunity gone begging there for T2.
Yeah, no VAR in USL, so even if it would have been deemed after the fact that he was offside, it would have been a goal that stood. Certainly got to take advantage of those opportunities when they come your way. And Mojadama will certainly be thinking about that one tonight. Anguiano long switch. Smith has to track back to collect.
That's really good counter pressure there from T2 just to win the ball back in possession. When you're the home team, you want to have that kind of pressure. And the longer that T2 can really pin in this Fresno side, the more opportunities they're going to have to find spaces and create those opportunities.
58th minute. And ball through from Wharton to Loria. Loria goes down at the edge of the box, kind of holding that left leg. Rolling around. Will stay down on the turf. And the whistle will blow. And Greg Wakefield will come out to take a look at Loria, who came on at the break.
It's a nice slip ball there from Wharton. And as Loria just takes that, he gets the contact. It's just a strange one there. Just seems like he gets something there on that left side that just didn't feel right.
Almost looked like Martin might have, right knee might have caught him as Loria shielded Martin from the ball.
Yeah, could have been right in the calf there. Cam Knowles not liking it, of course. Arguing for the foul.
2 goals in 7 appearances for Marvin Loria this year. Signed an MLS Timbers contract in the offseason, as he will jog off the field and wait to be waved back on by Elton Garcia.
And he's a player, Fletcher, we've talked about, you know, how good he was last season, is the explosiveness he had, and the shots from distance and the technique, and just how good he was really running at those back lines. And then this year he struggled with injuries, he struggled to find minutes. I really haven't seen the best of Marvin Loria yet.
With that being said, makes it all that more impressive that T2 is in the position that they are with a record of 6-2-5, knowing that one of their stars from last year has not been able to quite find his rhythm yet. Makes you feel good about what's to come in the summer months for Portland if Loria can eventually stay healthy, find that rhythm, and get back to his goal-scoring form of the past. As here's Ellis Hayden, sends it central for Lawal, and somehow Lawal basically almost hits it right back to Ellis Hayden. It was coming in hot from Ellis Hayden, though.
And Johnson just with the lovely dink ball there into the far post. A nice ball across the front of the goal, and you'd expect Lawal just to finish that one. First time I think it comes in a little hot for him. But Qudus Lawal just should do better with that. It's a nice ball from Ellis Hayden. And when you look back at that last game, Fletcher, against OKC for Fresno, that was the Achilles heel for them. They just couldn't finish. They were creating the chances. They just didn't have that target man finishing those goals, and Lawal's really going to want that one back.
I could say even on opportunities that these two teams should have taken advantage of in the second half. Jadama missed a wide open header off of a free kick restart on the back post, and then Lawal there at point blank range.
I have to wonder too, Fletcher, how is he wide open, Ellis Hayden, on that far post? I think that the back line has been a little bit suspect in this second half in terms of their positioning and in terms of their decisions about marking players and being switched on in the box.
Interesting as well, with this ball comes in and is cleared away by Hansen. With Fresno overloading the right side of the T2 defense, Langsdorff does well to spin around Mickey Daly and pick it up. No numbers, though, forward for Langsdorff to use. Able to shield Daly off it still as the reinforcements come. Some great hold-up play and even forward play by Langsdorff there as the cross comes in from Ojeda over the top of Hurtado.
Foster Langsdorff does a really good job there. Gets a bit fortunate on the bounces. As a former center back, absolutely hated it when when a striker was able to get that kind of a bounce, and then I'd have to track all the way back and try to win the ball back, and usually I ended up fouling the striker.
A wall to Ellis Hayden. He'll send the cross in, deflects off the back of Nathan Smith, and easy stuff for Ivicic.
And I would love to see T2 just continue to try to high press this Fresno team a little bit more, try to force those turnovers, try to continue to stay on the front foot.
Here's the ball over the top, looks for Hurtado, who controls it, one touch, hits it. Cochran saves momentarily. Cochran off of his line, though. Portland can't get the shot off, and Cafe able to clear.
What a magnificent chance there from T2. And Todd Wharton again providing that final ball. He's just been such a good player in the midfield for T2 today, just finding those balls. The vision's just been there, the weight of the pass. And Hurtado did very well with his first touch.
Ellis Hayden goes down under pressure. Ball rolls out across the end line. Gaffa with a momentary complaint.
And Wharton again with a wonderful ball, and it's a great ball. He takes that first time so well with his first touch, does Hurtado, but he just can't get enough of it, the shot, and to really, it was a good save from the goalkeeper. I give him credit. Cochran just going down to his left, does a really good job, Cochran, to stay with it as well, to force T2 back. Great chance, though, from T2. Wonderful ball from Wharton.
So after a somewhat sleepy first half between the two teams, almost as many good chances in the first 15+ minutes of the second half as there was the entire first 45 minutes.
And I love that run, Fletcher, from Hurtado, because he's coming in more centrally. He's forcing that outside back, that strong, to run with him, and he's got him beat for pace. And Wharton, for him to see that ball, just really lovely work from him to find that pass. And I've talked about it so much in this game, and just being able to get at that back three in transition. Those moments when the outside wingers, Ellis Hayden and Martin, are pushed up. That's when you have to go direct sometimes. That's when you have to run at that back line.
Portland's been opportunistic throughout the year, obviously, given that now have 29 goals on the season. And this stretch that we currently just entered has been a big one for Portland. In home matches this year, Portland has 5 of their 10 goals between minutes 61 and 75. So they've taken advantage of maybe a little lull that happens right at the start, or I should say in the middle of the second half, to earn themselves opportunities and put goals in here as Fresno earns the corner kick.
And that's a great stat for a home team. You really work, on those final 15-20 minutes of a game. You really want that to be the time when all that pressure, all that work defensively has paid off, and that opposition is feeling it. They're under it, and then you can find those opportunities. They come to fruition because of that hard work.
Kaffa will strike the corner kick, left-footed in-swinger. Float this one towards the back post. Headed back across, finds Johnson. Johnson's shot saved, blocked momentarily off the crossbar. Still with it is Lawal. Portland still looking to clear, and then they finally do. And then Hurtado's taken down, and a yellow card to be shown to Kurimoto.
And Kurimoto there with the tactical foul. Good yellow card to take if you're Fresno FC. But the marking here from T2 on the corner kick, just not good enough. Fresno able to win that ball on the far post. Not enough pressure there. The ball just falls. What a hit that is, I believe, from the center back.
It was Del Campo or Daly, most likely.
And just getting ricocheting off that crossbar. Fantastic opportunity there from Fresno on the set piece. T2 just need to clean up that a little bit more, get a little more pressure, more sense of urgency defending inside the box.
Marvin Loria does well to spin his man and earn the foul. Portland plays quick. Felt like maybe advantage should have been played as Loria had gotten around his man, but Elton Garcia had called the foul. And Cam Knowles not happy that advantage was not played there, having a conversation with Ian Miller.
I think the argument he's making is that the ball was actually placed set in a set position, and then Loria plays it. I should be allowed to play that, but the referee, I think, arguing that the foul occurred a little bit further back in the pitch, and that's why he wanted to stop play.
Ojeda hits this one over the top of everyone, and easy stuff for C.J. Cochran.
You just feel like the energy has just ratcheted up a couple levels, Fletcher, from both teams, and they each want to get that next goal. The next one's going to be so crucial to determine potentially the winner of this game. And you want to see, again, T2 just continue to play good defensively, countering those opportunities, press when they have those opportunities. And watch out for Jamal Johnson on the other side. He's just been very, very good this half, finding those spots, those little gaps in front of that back four for T2.
'68th minute. Great little touch as Lawal shoots and scores, set up by Johnson. And Fresno has turned this thing around and have the lead.
And Lawal finally getting his goal. Struggled to score as of recently, but it's that entry ball and that little touch there from Johnson that just provides the opportunity. And that's a great first touch there for Lawal, just to set himself up. He slips it right past the goalkeeper, Ivicic. No chance there. Lawal saying, I'm going to cut some things down tonight. 2-1 to Fresno.
Cutest Lawal, first season with Fresno, came to America in 2011. Actually led Chicago, Illinois' Mather High School to the 2A state title, and the reason that was significant is that was the first soccer title in the state for a public high school in 37 years.
Wow, really?
So he knows big moments, how to win, and he's been in position on multiple occasions, but hasn't quite been able to find that finishing touch he does there, though.
No, he struggled to finish, and you look back to that game against OKC Energy. We talked about it. He had multiple chances to score. He had an early, or one in this half that he probably should have put away as well, but then he gets that one, he puts it away. It's relief for the striker. You want to take your chances. You want to finish. Now he's got confidence, and this is going to be a very dangerous Fresno team moving forward. I think Johnson, as I said, has been very bright this half. He's just finding some really good opportunities and spaces to be dangerous, and for T2, they got to account for him. They got to make sure they get pressure to him, Johnson, whenever he's on the ball.
Second substitution coming for Portland. Probably see it at the next dead ball. Hansen, though, 1v1 versus Martin. Hansen trying to use it to work around Martin. Does, and he'll let it run out for a corner kick. So the substitution for T2 will wait. We're also going to see one from Fresno here momentarily too. Ojeda will be the man to hit this corner kick. Fourth of the afternoon for Portland. Todd Wharton took the previous three. Miller and Jadama forward for Portland. Ojeda hits it. Doesn't get past Kaffa. Back out to Hansen. Good defensive work by Fresno to not allow a quick ball back into the mixer. As Smith goes over the top, miss hit by Del Campo, and Hurtado picks it up, dribbling towards the end line, and earns another corner kick after the deflection goes out off of Ellis Hayden.
And this is the response you want to see from T2, going down a goal. Get that ball forward, try to find some dangerous moments, keep the pressure on, try to get that next one. Remain confident, but this is a resilient team, Fletcher. We know that from watching their results over the course of the year. They go down a goal, they fight back to get the next one.
Wharton feigns playing it short. Smith was running into the space behind, and now Cochran and Langsdorff going at it. clearly unhappy about something. And Langsdorf is shown a yellow card. And we will see the same for C.J. Cochran.
And goalkeepers never like when the striker crowds them in the space. You see Cochran just losing his cool a little bit, going after Foster Langsdorf. Can't really see a whole lot there about what happened. But certainly both players getting the yellow card, both players contesting that space in front of the goal. Yeah, you just wonder what Langsdorf did to set Cochran off there.
Played short to Smith. Smith will shoot from distance, forces a great save from C.J. Cochran.
Oh, and this is just a wonderful worked set piece from T2. Playing it early to the top of the box. Nathan Smith just getting everything on this. Cochran forced to make the big save. Just goes off the crossbar. What a great opportunity for T2.
Yeah, I can't tell if Cochran got his right hand on it or not, as it did go off the crossbar. Hansen can't get it back into the box. It's played back to Smith. Smith over to Anguiano. Anguiano will send it in towards a penalty spot just over the head of Jadama. And cleared, but mishit by Kaffa. Back in, off the chest of Langsdorf. Well, it takes a couple deflections, still in there for Portland, and Hurtado hits it wide.
And Nathan Smith just providing the service and the chances here in these last two big-time chances for T2. It's an early cross from him. Langsdorf elects to take the ball down with his chest. Keeps it, bounces between a couple Fresno players, falls right to Hurtado, and he's just unable to get the ball onto the goal to test the goalkeeper. But T2 looking very, very dangerous. Fletch, I really love the response from this team after going down a goal.
So Brian Hurtado comes off after that missed opportunity. He earned the PK that gave Portland the opening goal in this game right after halftime. Ryan Sierkowski, the 21-year-old Illinois native, comes on in his place, making his 12th appearance of the season. And then we will also see a substitution from Fresno. Jamal Johnson, who had an assist on the second goal for the Foxes, comes off in place of the 28-year-old Peruvian Renato, who's in his second season with Fresno, making his 4th appearance of the year.
You have to say, for Johnson, what a wonderful game he had, especially, you know, we didn't see a whole lot of him, Fletcher, in the first half, but the second half, he was just so bright and so active, and his movement was just so good. He was creating all the chances for Fresno, and of course on the goal, which could be the game winner, he definitely provided the thinking there, the creativity that led to Lawal's opportunity, and what a player. And obviously Adam Smith trying to lock things down from the defensive standpoint with the substitution.
Restart here for Fresno after Lawal was fouled by Jadama. Ball sent in, goes through a couple bodies, falls to the left-footed Jadama. He controls it and clears it out to midfield. Ellis Hayden with the long ball forward off the head of Daly. Tracked down by Kaffa near the end line and earns a throw. 76th minute. Just 15 minutes remaining here at the end of the second half, plus stoppage time at the discretion of Elton Garcia. Kuramoto, the first half substitute, coming on in place of the injured Seth Moses, as the offside flag is up there on Renato. Tune in to ESPN3 on June 18th at 7:30 p.m. for a special Tuesday edition of Wednesday Night Soccer, as Phoenix Rising FC meets Reno 1868 in Nevada for a battle between two of the best in the West. It's the week's best match on Wednesday Night Soccer on a Tuesday, June 18th at 7:30 p.m. on ESPN3. Portland back with it. Hansen can't get there in front of Martin, who knocks it out to touch. And at Fresno FC, an expansion side a year ago, and one of the things that Adam Smith mentioned, they talked with his management and the front office about in the offseason, was improving the ways in which they travel to away games. They were, for all intents and purposes, not very good on the road last year. They're 3-1-3 this year. We learned that last year they would bus from Fresno to LAX to fly out to wherever they were going for games. And then obviously when they flew to LAX, bus 4 hours back home. That is tough travel, not to mention going all over the United States to play matches. And it seems like it's helped being able to fly out of Fresno to games for this club, given the records that they have on the road this year.
It's just brutal. Every time you go on the road to have to spend 4 hours in a bus before you even get to the plane. And as a player, you want to make it as easy as possible for yourself and get as much recovery and rest that you can. So kudos to management, to ownership for stepping up and making the change, and it's paid dividends already this season. And also, Adam Smith went out in the offseason and noticed that they needed a goal scorer. They did really well defensively, but they needed to get a goal scorer, so they brought in Chavez, and he's obviously not seen the pitch as much as they would have wanted, but it's been a big investment for the side of Fresno, and you see these things starting to pay off.
Yeah, Chavez in the 18 today has not yet come on, though, as Ojeda hits the cross, headed by Langsdorff, and then wide from Miller.
Wow.
Well, you can't say Portland hasn't had their chances to level the score here in the last 7 minutes.
Wonderfully flighted ball in there, just curling in. Foster Langsdorff all alone. He gets ahead on, I think it might have hit Jadama as well, then bounced up to Miller, who just can't get that one on net. It's those chances you have to take when you're chasing the game like this. But some very suspect defending from Fresno on that set piece.
Portland in just the last 5 minutes. Nathan Smith had his shot from distance saved. Ryan Hurtado hit it just wide from just inside the penalty spot. And then that Roy Miller header basically inside the 6 goes wide as well. Hansen does well to get around a couple men, dribbles into the box, takes a deflection, cleared away. Well, Wall's touch falls all the way back to Loria. Loria now with space dribbling forward, will shoot from distance, takes a deflection, and Cochran collects.
But those are the opportunities you want to see, the spaces you want to see Loria get into, because he is so good shooting from distance. He is so good running at those back lines.
It's really been quiet, has Loria, since coming on at the break. You'd like to see in this last 10+ minutes him really take on the game and get himself some opportunities, because you know how dangerous he can be with that left foot.
He really hasn't found the space that he likes to operate in, Fletch, which is just behind that midfield line, in front of the back line of these opponents. And I think credit really to Fresno FC. They've done a good job of locking down the wide areas. They've done a good job of locking things down centrally as well, and making it difficult for the likes of Ojeda and Loria to operate in.
Yeah, just a little bit more on this Fresno side. Adam Smith mentioned, I mean, this was a club, this expansion team in 2018, started with 0 players. They had 0 players, and they were able to come in and be a competitive team in 2018. They tied for 11th place in the Western Conference, won 9 games, lost 13, drew 12. So they showed the ability to be competitive, and Adam Smith made sure to mention that to us when we talked to him, that this was not a team that came into the league and was awful. They came in and they gave teams some problems, and now they're kind of taking that next step with the pressure on the organization to really take that next step and get to the playoffs this year. And with the way they played on the road, with the fan base that they've cultivated at home and the way they've taken Chukchansi Stadium and Park and turned it into a little bit of a fortress, certainly seems like they're on their way to doing that if they can continue to get the results that they have here early in the year.
It's incredible, Fletcher, when you think about starting from scratch, building a team from scratch, and in year 2 having the kind of expectations that Fresno FC do. And I really like the way Adam Smith has built this team, though. He started from the back. You know, he really made sure that the midfield and that back line were solid. They're well drilled. They don't give up a lot of goals. And when you do that and you add those attacking pieces like Johnson, like Chavez, like the wall, you really put yourself in a position to get results.
And there you go, the substitution coming in for Fresno, third and final one of the afternoon. The 6'1", 31-year-old from Industry, California, Jaime Chavez, player that Adam Smith spoke so highly of to us before the match, went and spent some money on him to bring him in from Miami FC. Still hasn't quite found the rhythm that they were hoping for, but at 6'1", he's a towering force there in the box and a player that they really believe can do some things for them as they make a run in the USL Championship Western Conference.
Yeah, and at this stage of the game, too, for Chavez, you want to see him come into the game and really provide that hold-up play, allow the team to get out of pressure, be that outlet, hold the ball up, just make sure that there's runners coming off him, because he's obviously not going to provide the speed, but to have that big body come into a game like this is really important if you're trying to close out a match.
Smith does well to win that ball. Anguiano now back to Miller. Big thing here for Portland, too, is keeping this ball in play, not fouling Fresno, because they're going to take every second off of this clock that they can with restarts, free kicks, and such. Holding and maintaining this 2-1 lead as Loria still dribbling forward, and eventually a foul called on Kurimoto.
The referee never blew his whistle there. Loria just grabbing the ball and trying to put it back into play. But you look at the way the Fresno is built and the tactics, you know, they start out with it's a back 3, back 5, whatever you want to call it. As the game goes along and they're getting the points they need, they can even morph into more of a back 5 than anything. Just bring the wingers down. They've got a 4 in the midfield, and they have Chavez up top. It's really a great way to sit into a shape and absorb pressure when you're trying to ride a result out. And it's going to be really on T2 to find those opportunities to break them down, because there's not a whole lot of space when you look at really a back 9 there, a 5 and a 4,
yeah.
You know, to try to find spacing. So they're going to have to commit numbers forward, T2. They're going to have to take chances. Really, they're going to have to try to work to get that next opportunity.
Fans, the USL unveiled its elite youth platform, USL Academy. This allows clubs at all levels across the USL to develop its local youth and compete at the highest level. As this ball comes into the box. But USL Academy competes across the United States, including the USL Academy Cup. For more information, visit uslsoccer.com/academy. 85th minute.
Fresno just killing the game here with some possession. T2 just can't get any pressure on the ball, just chasing shadows. Sign of a mature team able to do things like this.
Cross comes in from Martin, goes all the way through. Smith gets a touch in front of Ellis Hayden, and now Sierakowski, sub who came on a few minutes ago, has a chance to bring it forward. Plays it. Anguiano a little behind him, has to track back to pick it up. But here comes Anguiano, big dribble forward, gets around a couple men, now plays out wide to Sierakowski. Sierakowski, defended by Strong, gets through him. Now to Anguiano. Wharton scored from the penalty spot, the lone goal for Portland. Right at the start of the second half. Sierakowski.
Ojeda. So tight in there, Fletcher. There's so many numbers back for Fresno. T2 just got to get that ball wide. Try to get across into the box. There's nothing going down Route 1.
And they're forced to play it all the way back to Ivicic. That is a win for Fresno. Sierakowski out wide to Hansen. Hansen defended by Martin. Has to work his way around him, does, but doesn't get much on the ball into the box and easily collected by Cochran.
Well, the final ball wasn't there for T2 in that situation. It's well worked. Finding that entry pass from Jadama to Sierakowski, and Sierakowski finding the ball wide. Just has to be better on the cross from Hansen.
Is there another goal in this for Portland? They've certainly had their opportunities. Loria carries forward. Long switch to Smith. Portland 1-0-1 when trailing after 75 minutes. Speaks to the resiliency that this club can have. As Chavez's pass, looking for Kurimoto, picked off by Ojeda. 3 minutes plus stoppage time remaining as that ball over the top from Jadama, looking for Sierakowski, goes over his head.
Yeah, Jadama just trying to take matters into his own hands there, trying to pick out Sierakowski in the box.
And what looks like we'll see T2 go to a back three here as Harold Hansen will come off, and the forward 18-year-old from Cornelius, Oregon, Gio Calixtro, will come on in his place, moving another man into the attack.
And for Hansen today, Fletcher, I thought he had a bright game. He was very good 1v1 in his challenges. He wasn't as narrow as we sometimes see him in games. I think his positioning was very good. I think he still needs to work on that final piece to his game, which is getting involved in the attack and getting his crosses into the box with quality. But overall, a very good game from him today.
Calixtro getting his 8th appearance of the season. The Timbers Academy player. Big ball forward from Loria, looking over the top for Calixtro. Was able to chase it down, get on the end of it, control it, lays it off for Sierakowski. Prep touch, shoots, takes the deflection. Wharton there and hits it wide.
Oh, and it's almost Groundhog Day for Todd Wharton to be able to get that equalizer again in consecutive weekends. And Sierakowski does a great job just to hit that ball on the frame, and it just comes out nicely off the deflection to Todd Wharton. He's aiming for that far post, just can't get it on frame. So unfortunate for T2.
Todd Wharton was inches from a brace today in his 3rd goal in the last 2 matches. Will that be the last opportunity Portland gets? Sierakowski fouled there. Quick restart from Portland. Smith just hits it, and Daly able to clear, and they get it into space for Renato, who will dribble forward, potentially down into the corner.
I think some shouts for potential shouts for a handball on that shot, but I think the arm of the defender, it might have been Del Campo or Strong, was inside enough, tucked in enough for it not to get called.
.15 seconds plus stoppage time remaining. We'll see how much we have to play. Initial indications from downstairs are 3 minutes of stoppage time. And that is indeed what we will play as Portland earns the goal kick. Jadama into the mixer. Eventually falls to Wharton. First time touch, tries to play it outside to Smith, but too much on it. And out for a Fresno throw. Fresno certainly going to take their time getting over there.
Yeah, just a lot of gamesmanship here from Fresno. Trying to kill off as much of this game as they possibly can. That's what you want to do when you're up. You want these points. T2 just going to have to try to get that last opportunity.
1 minute through the added 3 here at the end of the second half. Here's Calixtro. Couple touches. Wharton now into space for Ojeda. Sierkowski. Sierkowski backheeled. Smith finishes and is leveled in second half stoppage time.
Well, T2 are the cardiac kids today. Never giving up. Fighting for that last opportunity. It's just a dink ball in from Jadama. And it's a really nice flick from Sierkowski, and Nathan Smith just commits to the run, decides, I'm going for this ball here, the outside back, and what a lovely finish. Takes it on the one hop, finishes in the far corner. No chance for Cochran. Tie ball game, 2-2.
Less than 45 seconds left. Here comes Fresno down the other way. Outside. Vucevich's shot blocked by Wharton. And then Jadama touches, and it'll roll across the sideline for a throw for Fresno right down near the end line. We've got less than 30 seconds remaining here of the added 3 minutes at the discretion of Elton Garcia. Another throw for Fresno. 15 seconds. We'll see if there's any time added for the goal that was scored. Ball into the box. Looks like it came off the arm. Nothing, though, and shot high and wide. And Ivacic likely to take his time with the restart. And we won't even see it. So with less than a minute left in the match, Nathan Smith scores a goal off of a back heel from Ryan Sierkowski on a ball into the box. And these two teams split the points 2-2, all 4 goals coming in the second half.
Wow, and I mean, credit to T2 for being able to make that comeback. Fresno came out firing. They did a really good job. Obviously, T2 gets the penalty, but they came roaring back with the 2 goals. But credit to T2. They didn't give up on the game. This is a resilient group. I think their favorite band is Journey because they just don't stop believing this group. And full credit to them for getting splitting the points here. Both teams, very good performance defensively, creating the chances. Some good soccer tonight.
So with the draw, Portland moves to 6-2-6 on the year, 24 points. Identical 3-1-3 records at home and on the road. Meanwhile, Fresno FC now 5-2-7 on 22 points. They move to 3-1-4 on the road this season. Well, we certainly had an exciting second half. Let's take a look back at our full match highlights. We'll start in the 46th minute. It was Hurtado earning the penalty kick.
Yeah, Nathan Smith doing a really good job of finding the entry pass. It's just a clumsy challenge there from the defender. The referee says, I'm going to call that PK. It's warranted. It's a foul in the box.
And then the penalty kick from Todd Wharton.
Yeah, and Todd Wharton just showing the ice in his veins. The little stutter step gets Cochran guessing, finishing off there. He's been such a veteran, calm presence in that midfield. Todd Wharton getting that first goal for T2.
You said the game needed a goal. It opened things up in the 53rd minute. Elijah Martin leveled the score.
Yeah, and then Fresno FC just saying, you know what, we're going to respond here. And Jamal Johnson providing the ball there. It's a great ball to Martin there. And Martin just, what a run from him. Catches Harold Hansen sleeping on that back post. Finishes near post. No chance for the goalkeeper, and the game is scored. It's
really
tied.
Started a stretch of 15 minutes in which Fresno had a lot of opportunities. 66th minute, they nearly scored again.
And then just some poor marking there on the back post. Ball falls there for Johnson, and a couple players have a stab at it. Then it falls there for Daly. He's not able to get the ball on net. Clangs off the crossbar. And it's just a chance that goes begging for Fresno.
The Foxes would keep the pressure up, though. 2 minutes later, it's Quatus Lawal.
Yeah, and then you look at just the pass here. Look at the movement there from Johnson, just finding the little space, the little touch, and it's the movement from the wall that frees himself from the defender. Finishes far post. It's really lovely work from Fresno, who were just so dangerous in that first part of the second half, and then they're up a goal.
5 minutes later, Portland started to put the pedal to the metal, and Nathan Smith from distance nearly found the back of the net.
Yeah, Nathan Smith was just so good in this second half. He goes in there, fires that shot on goal, gets every single piece of that ball. The technique is so good. Cochran gets a little piece of it just to save it. It's a nice save from the goalkeeper.
78th minute, off the T2 corner, Roy Miller thought he had the equalizer.
Yeah, and this ball just bounces off of Foster Langsdorff there, who's unmarked, and then it falls to Miller, who wishes he could get something a little bit more, and I think he just sees it a little bit too late, not able to get it on net.
We move later on into the 89th minute. Some good buildup from Portland nearly led to a brace for Todd Wharton.
Thought this might be the last chance for T2. Sierakowski, who came into the game and was very bright. The ball falls for Wharton, but he just can't seem to get that one on net. But again, it's Sierakowski who has the shot on goal. Ricochets there, and Wharton just looking for that second goal. Can't get it.
And then in second half stoppage time, after you thought this might not be Portland's day, it's Nathan Smith.
It's just the resilience of this group, never to give up. Jadama throwing that ball in the box. It's a really nice touch there from Sierakowski, and just the run on the back post there from Smith, just to keep going and say, hey, I believe this ball is going to fall to me. I'm going to finish this. I'm going to get a share of the points here for T2.
Wouldn't be surprised to see that up for USL goal of the week, given the back heel from Sierakowski to set up Nathan Smith for the calm finish. Well, the teams split the points 2-2 today between Portland Timbers 2 and Fresno FC Foxes. For all the dads out there, hope you have a great Father's Day, a great rest of the Father's Day. Beautiful day here in Portland. We're going to go enjoy it ourselves. Nat, enjoy your Father's Day. For our entire team here at Providence Park, our producer Jose Navarez, and my partner here at Nat Borchers, I'm Fletcher Johnson. We'll talk to you about a week and a half for the next Portland Timbers 2 home match against Reno 1868 on June 26th. 2-2 between Portland Timbers 2 and Fresno FC.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League Championship cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the expressed written consent of the United Soccer League Championship.